And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, Darren back with you, Cross Timbers Farm. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles. Glad to have you with us on this beautiful day, early September. And as you can see behind me, we have the hay rake ready. Getting ready to start raking the reclaimed hay field. This is day number 5 of dry down. Glad to say we've had no rain. We've had sunshine every day. Today we got a little bit of a breeze. This is day number 5 of dry down, and we've needed all 5 days. We've not had much radiant solar heat on the hay. Our high temperatures has been in the low 70s, like 70, 71, 72 degrees, in that range. A couple of mornings, yesterday and today, we've pushed 40s for lows. This morning when I got up, it's 49. Yesterday it's 48. Fall's quickly approaching. But the hay, I've been out in it walking around inspecting it some, and it's pretty dry. I think it's ready. It's day number 5, and this hay's ready to rake. So we've got the Kubota ready. It's fueled up, everything's greased. On the rake, we got the Grizzly 4-wheel hay rake, and we're ready to start raking hay. And I think this hay is about as ready as it's ever going to be. For the last 5 days, we cut on a Thursday evening, tedded it the first evening, tedded it the next day, and we didn't ted it again till yesterday, just to stir it up on a very low RPM. And I'm gonna bend over and grab some hay here. And we're gonna do a twist test, okay? The old way of checking it to see if your hay's ready. It sprung out pretty good. Where I twisted it at the joint, it broke. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit more over here in a different spot. And we are going to do the old bicycle twist test. All right, it's a pretty good amount. Okay, broke. Okay, in this field we have a tree line, as you can see behind me, and that tree line blocks part of our sun for about half the day. I pushed some of that hay out of that tree line earlier this morning to get it out in the sun a little better, but it's still not quite as dry as the rest of this. So, per our usual routine, after we rake it, we'll bale 1 bale and test moisture, and especially any that we bale on this far end, on this west side of the field next to the tree line. We're going to be real careful and test that for moisture content. Usually on this hay field, I have someone riding drag, because those round bales in a sloped field equals rolling bales, runaway bales. Today I have no help. When my baler chamber gets full and the alarm sounds that it's ready to twine wrap, and I let it twine wrap, before I eject that bale, I'm gonna have to drive somewhere or get my tractor turned where the baler is below where it's going to eject, so when it comes out it won't just roll for half a mile down into the woods and ruin the bale, ruin our fence at the bottom of the field. So I'm gonna have to improvise, and it may take me a little longer to bale this than normal, because in the past I've had someone ride drag to catch these bales. Today I don't have that option. Where there's a will, there's a way, and we're gonna make it work somehow, some way. So even if I'm in a bad place to eject the bale, I may have to drive to the top of the field somewhere to eject it and then go back and pick up where I left off, or get the tractor turned where the bale, when it comes out, will just roll right back against the baler, and I can just stop the tractor, cut the baler off, and get out and move that, get off the tractor and move that bale before I continue on, so it don't take off rolling. We'll devise a plan. We're going to do this on the fly as we go. But first, we got to get this raked into windrows. There's more hay here in this field than we've ever had. How much, I don't know exactly. However, quantity is not our goal, quality is. And this hay still has a weed load. I'm proud to say the deer tongue is minimal. Our work on that deer tongue has worked. That deer tongue has been replaced by 2 other non-desirables, panic grass and foxtail. We got to do something about both those. We've had a little bit of broom sage pop up here and there. We'll deal with that this winter too, with the lime. It's always a battle when you're talking hay fields in the southeast or the eastern United States. It's always a battle here. When you get one weed under control, another one shows up. In this case, we got one under control and 2 more showed up, so with a vengeance. But it is what it is. It's gonna make decent hay, not premium, but decent. So let's get started raking this so we can. Raking's done. This field's tough to rake. It's on such a slope that when I make my turns on the headlands, I have to be careful. Picking that rake up, even though it only weighs about 500, 600 pounds, I can't remember exactly, but that's close. On a compact tractor, and that tractor's a Kubota L3200 four-wheel drive, when you pick that rake up and you're already on a downhill slope and your rake's off to the right, and you pick it up to turn, that pulls even more weight over, and you have to be really careful. Back up slow, make small Y turns to get turned to come back down your windrow. And you just have to be careful. I do not recommend anyone to do this stuff on slope ground like I'm doing. Unless you're very, very experienced in a tractor seat. But it's all right, the windrows look good. Raking's my least favorite part of the hay process. I still enjoy raking, don't get me wrong, but raking's just not my favorite. Out of the four processes of mowing, tedding, raking, and baling, tedding would be number 1. Cutting hay would be number 2, baling 3, raking 4. I'm not that good of a raker, but every passing hay season I get better and better. I am far from arriving. Although my windrows are acceptable, I don't know if you can see them there. They're acceptable. Making windrows for a mini round baler is not easy when your hay's thick and you have a lot of volume. And this is the most hay I've ever cut on this field. And this is the first full year of haying it. We had one cut last fall, and that was mainly just to get the hay off because we didn't want more organic material down on this sod. There was so much already. And it had been bush hogged like 4 weeks before. We first cut off this year. This is second cut. So this is the first full season on this reclaimed hay field. And what we've got here now is blowing away the first cut as far as volume. There's a lot of it. Some of these windrows are getting pretty big. If you can see up here along the top, some of those windrows all the way at the end up here is getting pretty good sized. I'm gonna have to take my time and let that little mini round baler just chug along and eat them up. I hear some people say they clog their mini round baler up occasionally, maybe a little too often than they feel they should. They're going too fast and too thick of hay is my opinion. I mean, there's no way to know for sure unless you see. But when you get in really thick hay, and you can see that those pickup teeth really pulling in a lot of hay, slow down. I have even come to a complete stop and let this sit there and keep pulling in until it clears out where it's sitting and move forward another 12 inches, let it sit there and pull a bunch in until I get a really big clump of hay eat up before I go on. Gear down, low range first, low range second, low range third. Baling with my mini round baler, I have never gotten out of low range. I've been in low range 4, low range 3, 2, and 1. Most of the time on this field, we're going to be in low range 1 or 2 because of the steepness of this field. And the hay's pretty thick, so even in a nice flat field, if my hay was really thick, I'm going to slow down and let that little round baler do its job. And don't try to shove too much hay into it at once. All right, let's go get this rake unhooked and get our baler ready to start baling. This hay's ready, I hope. We're going to do a moisture check. Per usual, we will do a one bale, check the moisture. We're going to check the moisture a lot more back here toward the woods line where there's been shade more than out in the middle of the field. But we'll check the moisture before we continue. It's been 5 days of dry down. I can't imagine this hay's not ready, but I've been wrong before. The twist test told me that it was ready. I've seen hay twist test better than that, but I've seen it a whole lot worse. I think it's ready. So we're gonna start baling. Let's go get that baler hooked up. All right, we have the Farm Maxx / Redlands 330 baler hooked up to the Kubota. We're ready to start baling. It's about 3 p.m. I was in the barn unhooking the rake and hooking up the baler, and then I went home, grabbed a bite of lunch, got me something cold to drink, come back out here, and you would not believe what the wind had done to my windrows. On top of this hill, the wind was blowing downhill about out in the crest of the field. About the first, from the top down, about the first 5 to 6 windrows, kind of in the middle, had blew them every one, all scattered them all back all over the middle of the field there. I guess just a gust come through. It's a little breezy today, but everything's hooked up. The baler is pre-oiled and everything's ready to go. We're gonna start baling hay. Come on. I'm out of breath. This is gonna be a challenge, baling this by myself. You see this bale's a little fuzzy looking. I thought I was at a spot where I could catch this, get off. This bale wouldn't roll real fast. I could shut the tractor off and get out and catch it while it's just barely rolling. No, I chased it all the way down through the field. It hit the fence and done a NASCAR roll a time or two, end over end, and finally the fence grabbed it. About half of it come untied, so I tied it back by hand, and I didn't do that good of a job, but it is what it is. Baled one more that was out from under that shade tree. The highest reading I got on this one was 15.9. The majority of them was 14.5, which 14.5 is as low as our moisture meter will go. So it was at least 14.5 or lower. Based on the weight of this bale, I'd say it's around 15%. So we're gonna keep baling. We're gonna keep checking any of these bales that's been in the shade. I think all the rest of this, it's in the sun, we're good to go. baling by myself on this steep area. I've got to figure out a way. Alright, right there, Art, to catch that. Just checked the moisture reading in this bale, third bale, 14.7. It's the highest reading I got. It's good. Good looking hay. This is going to take me quite a bit longer to bale, having to stop and back my baler, kind of get it at an angle where when I eject the bale, it's not going to roll off. It's just going to roll right back against the baler. This is going to be a long baling. I had nobody to ride drag. You got to do what you got to do. Baling hay, and I noticed my twine was getting really low, and I didn't have enough left after I just got done with the bale. I didn't have enough left to make another bale. All right, what I do is I go ahead and pull out what I've got left, and I've got a brand new ball of twine right here. This is Tytan 1600 green. Best baling twine I've ever used in these mini round balers. Okay, in a bale of twine, or a ball of twine, you're gonna have one end, just like this. If you'll notice, it's got a tag on it, see it there? Pull from this end. All right, that's the end we pull from. That's what's gonna go down into our bucket through our, if you pull on it a little bit, it comes right out. Pull this little tag off. Okay, I'm going to get, it's got a little knot in it. This usually works. I've not tried it with this Tytan brand twine, but with the Brazilian Gold and other brands, it's always worked. Jute twine, etc. Okay, we'll cut that knot piece off. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is start pulling some of this until I can reach it through my bucket. through the grommet and the hole in the bottom of my bucket. Now I'm going to take this end and I'm going to tie these two together in the smallest knot that I can tie. One overhand knot pulled really tight. Okay. I'm going to cut my excess off here. There's not enough of this to make a bell. I'll wad that up in a minute. Okay, I'm just going to take these two and I'm just going to tie a overhand knot in one of them the best I can. Okay, I'm going to tie it as tight as I can pull it. Okay, it's pretty tight. Now I'm going to take my pocket knife again, my good trusty Case XX, and I'm going to trim off these tag ends. Very close to the knot. I'll pick these pieces up out of the field here in a second. Once I get this fed. Alright, a very tight knot. I hope that'll feed through. Okay, I'm not going to do it while I'm baling. I'm going to pull this through by hand to make sure that knot goes through. Okay, now I'm to the other side of the baler. I am going to open the left side guard door. Wow, that's dusty. I'm going to start pulling this through. Okay, it came through that one. All right, I'm gonna take it off this white pulley. Boy, there's a lot of chaff in here. I'll put it back on the white pulley once I get. Okay, I'm gonna go right up here. I'm gonna set my baling twine into the bucket. Like so. All right, now you don't want this to, you don't want to be able to move your twine arm. Just like that. New twine is threaded on. Okay, I'm gonna curl up all this. It's laying in the field. I don't want it laying in my field. Not much. Maybe a half a bale. Half a bale's worth of twine. Okay, these tag ends that I cut off. Okay, I'm just gonna shove them in my pocket. All right, we're ready to start baling again. New twine is fed in. Okay, the only thing we got left to do is put it on our white pulley. Just like that. All right, I'm just gonna verify that everything is still in the grooves, the tensioners. All right, everything looks good. Down to about the top of the roller. There we go. It's that simple. Tie you the smallest overhand knot you can. Pull it tight and just pull it right through. You don't even have to worry about getting that twine between those tensioners and all that stuff. Just tie you a knot, feed it right through. Baling's done. We got a lot more hay off this field than what I was anticipating. I knew it was going to produce pretty good, but there's a lot more bales than I thought. Here's the first load going off the field. And after we tested that first bale, it was where it was under this shade tree at that area, and all the rest of them tested good. Very good moisture content. We had one bale, but I'm gonna check every single bale as we store them off this trailer as they go in on pallets in the shed. I'm gonna quickly check the moisture content in every bale. Haul them in out of the field with our Honda Foreman. Works fantastic. With our little trailer we pull behind it, I think it's a 4x8, and we can stack about 10 bales per load. And it's about to get dark on us, so I'm gonna wrap up this video. It's better hay than I thought it was. It's still not premium hay, but it's decent hay. Not our normal product, but this is a work in progress, this field, and it's improving every year. We'll get there. It's just gonna take some sweat equity and some time. Okay, second cutting off the reclaimed field is done. We've had a second cutting on every field on our property, and the test plot we've had 3 cuttings. We're hoping for one more off of our main hay field, which will make 3, and one more off our test plot, which will make 4, if we can get some rain. It's again been bone dry for about the last month. I was actually pleased that this grew as good as it did. We're in a drought situation, but fingers crossed we've got rain in the forecast this coming weekend and part of next week, so we sure hope that happens for the regrowth on this field. The baler ran real good, cleaned up good. Had to go back and forth after I was done with the windrows and clean up our headlands. I'm still not good at headlands when it comes to raking. Takes me a little extra time to clean those headlands up. Pretty decent hay. I'll let you know the numbers. I ain't even counted them yet. The yield, but yield's not our priority. But it's all like I always said, if you can maintain your quality, why would you not want as much quantity of that quality as you can get? Albeit this is not premium hay. It's middle of the road hay. Hopefully next year, maybe the year after, we'll start getting premium hay off this field. It's coming along. Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it. Let's start getting this hay into the sheds. We got a couple more loads to come get, so let's get this one going. We may be out here with headlights on the Foreman, getting the last of it up. Thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it. Appreciate you as our subscribers watching regularly. We really appreciate you guys. Y'all are fantastic. Thank you. God bless you and your family. Hope y'all have a fantastic day.